All right, hey, we're here at NAMM 2020 at the JodyJazz booth. Check out this spread, folks. This is only part of the spread. We got some new mouthpieces here. We've got some traditional mouthpieces over here that everybody loves. We got the power rings. We got all this great stuff. And Shedeville, right over there, with all the lovely clarinet stuff and saxophone stuff. We got people already here. We're before the conference starts, and yet it's getting crowded over here. Hey, Jody, how you doing?
How are you, Donna?
Awesome, cool. So you've got new stuff out. You want to tell us what's out for this year?
Yes, but first I want to say, Donna, thank you for what you're doing for the saxophone community. I think you're doing saxophone journalism, and I don't know if we ever had that the way you're doing it. I'd love to be interviewed by you because you always have great questions, and just a thank you.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, I'm very humbled right now. Oh my God, thank you.
So that's my favorite Divi Alto 7. I've been playing it for so long, but it happens when I make a new mouthpiece. Often I do kind of need to fall in love with it before it's done. And the first one I think I want to show you is, where is it? Oh yeah, it's here. It's the new custom dark tenor mouthpiece.
Awesome.
And it's got rounded sidewalls in there, and which give it this kind of this extra tone. Instead of just the core, it gives that little halo around, like I call it the moon glow, when you see the moon and then you see this glow around it. And what we did is put this in our Shedeville rubber, which is our own rubber formula what we got when we purchased Shedeville. It's softer and warmer sounding. And then I was sitting there one day and I was like looking at these power rings. I wanted to put a ring around it, but I took one of these soprano rings and I jammed it on the end, and I was like, whoa, and it gave it a boost. So instead of a thin metal ring, I'm putting a nice heavy, so it's inspired by that. And it's just, I fell in love with this thing, because this Divi Alto is let's say a bright to moderate sound mouthpiece. So I've been that, because we have so much power, but we can get the warmth. But we have all that horsepower. But now with this, it's all about the beauty. But it lets you play. I don't have my tenor set up. I'm going to have Arno Haas come over in a second, and he'll play this for us, okay?
Great.
But I've fallen in love with it. It's so beautiful, and I'm lucky because, I'll get it in the shop and I'll go through 100 prototypes, but you really can't tell until you get it on the gig, and I really learn things on the gig, and I come back and yeah, that didn't. So that's what's been so helpful, and playing on the gig has been great on this thing. So,
well, let me ask
HR Star Custom Dark.
Yeah. So what genres would that be best for? What students would that be best for? Because I was just asking Danielle Walker, before, we were talking together. I always recommend your mouthpieces to my students, and I always recommend the hard rubber and all that kind of thing. So, who would you recommend this mouthpiece for?
Well, HR Star is probably my #1 recommendation for anybody wanting to play jazz, and it can do so much. It's brighter than this now, and it can. And for students, that can be really, helpful. Say, it's still warm and, a good jazz mouthpiece. It's like right in the middle of the road. But there are a lot of players who really want darker. There's a difference in the feel of the blow because of those round sidewalls and that big chamber. There's this thing that you blow in and you just feel like you expand in a way. And we get more bottom in this tone that goes like this. So when somebody is getting, very serious about their tone, I would say try this because you can punch it. The altissimo is great, but there's this different feel and this different tone.
Is it more spread? Would you say that's more spread sound?
It's more spread, yeah.
Got it, okay.
And some gigs you need the laser focus, and if that's what you do all the time, but if you're really looking for the most beautiful sound, it would be this and our Divi New York, which is the really dark mouthpiece. It's got a deep chamber compared to the Divi. So deep chamber goes into, let's see.
Yeah, I have the DB7. I've had it for a gazillion years.
Yeah, it's our number one selling metal mouthpiece.
Yeah.
And that's surprising because many alto players, they say, I don't want to try metal. And I always just shove it in their hands and I say, play it. And they're like, whoa. So, and I like the power ring. So when Arno, you have ready?
Can I ask you one question about the power ring?
Yeah.
What made you come up with that idea of the power ring?
Well, I had a ring before that was a thinner brass, and it fit around the whole reed, like flat on the reed, and it was good. But when we came up with this, I saw these people putting heavy things on the saxophone, mass, and so let me see what that does in a ligature, and it adds body. And then, in addition, inside it curves away from the reed. And so it's touching on 4 points of the reed. So it's a special vibration. And for a lot of people, they put it on, they go, whoa, that's a game changer. For some people, it's not as much. But ligature is a very personal thing. I love how simple it is. Just hold it, reed, and slide it down, and I'm done. As many mouthpieces I play in a day, I don't have time to do this. And band directors are like going nuts when the kids are in there going for 5 minutes and they're breaking their reeds because they put the ligature down, all that stuff. So I love also the simplicity and the look.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
So let's see if we can get Arno to play the custom dark tenor. Right, here you go, Arno.
Morning,
And morning. This is Arno Haas. He's a good friend. He's been a JodyJazz endorser for many years. All right.
It's a great player. I've heard him play many times.
Oh, come on.
Go ahead. How is altissimo? A little bit of altissimo. Sounds beautiful, Arno.
Everything fair?
Do you have any questions for Arno?
Actually, that's too funny. So how would you compare the feel of that? What mouthpiece is that your normal mouthpiece now?
Usually I play the Giant.
So we just came out with this. This is the first time you've seen it.
It's the first time I touched it.
Brand new.
And I love it. It's a fantastic piece. For different kind of music, maybe more jazz. It's just dark and full, and if I have to scream with a loud band, I will stick with the Giant. But for all the situations to play with the band with a full, rich, nice sound, it's perfect.
That's actually a great description because people always want to know the differences between the mouthpieces. And we all play most of us play many styles of music, but some people don't. They may be in a community band or community jazz band, or playing in church.
So when volume is not the issue and beauty is, then I go for this. But with everything I try and do is make even the bright mouthpieces have the beauty. I mean, that's the whole thing, and to try and get enough bottom. That's the last 30 yards of my prototyping process is all about getting the bottom in, and sometimes it takes forever just playing around. First we got to get the facing curve, we got to get it blowing right, and then we're looking for a tonality, bright or dark, and then we're looking for that fullness. So that's thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right.
Awesome. And what I will say this too, what I love about you, you love what you do. It's funny because in your videos you say, I love this mouthpiece, and we know that because we know how much the work you put in to developing your mouthpieces. And again, I just remember, I was just telling this to Danielle, I remember meeting in New York.
Welcome to day 2 of the NAMM Show. The show floor is now open.
Alrighty, but you know, I appreciate you and everything that you've done for the saxophone community, you know, for all the players, and also as an educator too, because I know that you're helping so many people of all ages and abilities feel more confident in their playing. So I just wanted to thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so I hear you've got a couple of more things to share with us.
Yes, it's our 20th anniversary, so we wanted to do something special, and we made the mouthpiece a Divi Platinum, and it's a special collector's edition. Only 100 tenor Divi 7 stars and 100 alto Divi 7s. Wow. So it comes with a leather pouch. We put it with the Grosvenor Platinum ligature.
Okay, I noticed that, yeah.
Yeah, and a bamboo case and like a little certificate of authenticity. And it's almost sold out for us, so we're selling it to dealers, and so anybody who's a collector and would like this mouthpiece should contact their dealer and see if they can reserve one. There's only 100 tenors and 100 altos.
So don't contact you, contact a dealer.
Or if you need to contact us because your dealer doesn't have it, you can, and we can send you somewhere. Okay?
Awesome, great. That would be great for the international folks.
The international folks sopped them up a lot. So the other new thing, I'm going to go down to the basement and get it.
Okay, great.
Okay.
All right, I'm just going to follow you down. The basement at NAMM.
Daniel told me to do that. Is JodyJazz Clarinet. And what we did, it's our HR Star. And what I wanted to do was, in the lower numbers, in millimeters 100 to about 125, which is the normal range of, let's say, Van Doren mouthpieces, I wanted to make them pretty straight ahead as far as concert band. They're very free-blowing, but they're just a little bit brighter than the average clarinet, hardly. But so they really do well in concert band and in classical situations. But then I wanted to offer a real jazz mouthpiece. So we have numbers 1 through 10. So when we start from 6 to 10, and 10 is 195 millimeters, which is huge. This one is a 7, and I'm trying to remember what millimeter that is. Okay. So it's a 160, and 145 is usually around where a jazz mouthpiece starts.
Can we see the inside of that, by the way?
Okay.
Let's get that over here. Great. Awesome.
So when we got to those upper numbers, we brought the whole floor of the chamber up, and so that giving it more volume. And I want, when you're on a jazz gig or something popular, you got a clarinet, you really need to get across. It's pretty loud, right?
Yeah.
And it's fun to play. I've been having a blast playing this one on the gig too. Also, we have, this is over in Shedville land, but I made this barrel, it's called Casper. It's made out of hard anodized aluminum, and it's still warm sounding, but it does give me more projection. Hard anodized aluminum is very hard, and it actually gives more projection.
How is it, okay, you know how beginner clarinets, they always have problems with intonation. How does that address intonation as well?
Well, in this case, this one is a very short barrel, 63 millimeter, because I'm playing a real open mouthpiece with a number 2. That's a 2.5 Mitchell Lurie. It's fairly soft. It's like a 2 Blue Box Van Doren. So it's fairly soft, so I can play with this looseness and get that. That's the old New Orleans style, or more like Artie Shaw or something. So what we can do, most barrels that come with the clarinet are about 66 millimeter, sometimes 65. We can use a shorter barrel so that we won't be flat. So those students that are having a flat problem, they can buy a shorter barrel. But basically, you know, if they're doing that, they need to bring this up a little bit. But intonation is super important, and it's real critical when you're designing things for the clarinet. It's actually more critical, these dimensions. So what else is new? Oh yeah, so we talked about 3 mouthpieces, the barrel. Can I show you that banner over there?
Yes.
Good for you too. Step into my office.
All right, so we're gonna go on location here. We actually are on location, folks. We're gonna head on over to this part of Jody's booth. And wow, I see something different here.
Yeah, yesterday we raised the banner at 9 a.m. and announced that we acquired E. Rousseau saxophone mouthpieces.
Wow, congratulations, wow.
I'm so, honored. Dr. Rousseau and his daughter called me and asked me if I was interested, and I was definitely so interested because these are great mouthpieces and with a great tradition. So many students of Dr. Rousseau, who's the most legendary figure in saxophone, teaching, playing, and designing the Yamaha saxophone. So it's just, and I'm like, I want to be of service to that community of Dr. Rousseau students and continue these mouthpieces. And so it's a really exciting new chapter.
Now, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
For those people that are not as aware of the Rousseau mouthpieces, who are those mouthpieces best for?
Well, we have for any student, because the mouthpieces are really nicely priced, a very affordable price. And so for concert band, there's several classical saxophone models. I think right now my favorite might be the NC4. Beautiful sound. It rivals any classical mouthpiece in beauty of sound and playability. And also there's several models of jazz mouthpieces. And I was surprised to learn that 40% of Rousseau sales are jazz mouthpieces. And so there's some very nice stuff. Straight ahead hard rubber mouthpieces, and also a brighter model called the JDX. Studio Jazz is straight ahead. So there's a lot, and the price is actually very interesting because it's completely competitive with anything out there. So that's a big deal.
Thank you so much, Jody. Thank you for your time. I know we're starting to hear more noise as NAMM gets really noisy. So I wanted to thank you for your time and everything that you do for the saxophone community.
Thank you very much to you. All right.